Hello. So before going through the AI implementation of CI summary of the failure, I'll just go through the architecture diagram so that it is easy for everyone to understand what we are trying to implement with the help of AI summary for CI rules. So now consider this is the architecture. Whenever our Jenkins build failure is there, it will collect based on our coding or based on our AI. What we'll be doing is first we will collect like 250 log lines, and then we will limit to 12,000 characters. Once that is done, we'll write that to failure log file.txt, and then we'll execute the Jenkins AI summary.python file, which is again calling OpenAI and other providers like Azure OpenAI. You can call OpenAI, OpenAI-Compatible APIs, Ollama, etc. So that you can analyze the cause of the CI failure. So if you don't have anything specified, it will by default to Ollama. That is what we have configured. Then we will send the logs to LLM. So in the LLM, we'll provide the prompts like what is the root cause and what is the cause of the failure. So it should give the output. So once that is there, we will return that to human readable summary form to the Jenkins. So which will be sent to the Jenkins via, you can get in the Jenkins message, Slack or email. So we'll be implementing in the Jenkins log itself for the summary of the failure. So now this part specifically calling the AI provider and the Jenkins AI summary we'll discuss above. So what we will be doing is like if in the AI implementation part we'll check with the whether the AI provider is set, whether you need to use OpenAI or Claude or any other things. If it is set, we will return that AI provider. If it is not set, again we'll check for other things like OpenAPI or API keys, API keys. If it is set, again we will return that. If it is not there, check like OpenAI's URL is there, AI model is set or not. If it is not, then we will go with Ollama. So our case, we have not implemented any use case, so we are defaulting to Ollama. So anyways, if you are not providing any keys or anything, so we'll just go with Ollama because it is the local implementation and we don't need to call any API or go over the internet to get the summary of the CI. So rest will be covering other things one by one in the script sections and the Jenkins job configuration part. So I picked again our Ansible repository where earlier we have worked on a Mac agent and we have deployed the Ansible that is a file to our S3 bucket. So we have some S3 bucket called 28 May 2025. In that we had deployed a first sample file. Again, that exists in our repo. So this is the file here. So actually, this CI is doing nothing but just copying the file from here to the S3 bucket. So this is our task which we have implemented previously using Ansible. If you want to go to Ansible, so in the playbook section we have the playbook created. So here again, this is the task we have mentioned, upload file to S3, and this is again localhost means local machine. This is my MacBook, connection is local. Gather box, we don't need to gather any facts about the machine, so I just mentioned as false. Again, we are defining all the variables here. So I have defined S3 bucket, S3 key. S3 key is basically the folder inside the bucket. So I just kept it empty. We have given the region as Singapore, which is AP South 1. And again, for the local file path, this is the way which we have given, like it should be getting from my workspace location of the Jenkins, wherever it runs or the playbook runs inside the file, it should find the file.txt. So this is the local file path. In the task section, we have mentioned like upload file to S3, and this is the command we have given, which is AWS S3 copy, which is copy from our this location to this. Now, basically how the Jenkins will run is, this is our Jenkins file, which will create our pipeline. In the pipeline, again, we have mentioned the label as Mac machine, which means we have already configured the Jenkins agent as Mac machines. We can see this is the Jenkins Mac machine agent, and this is our project, Ansible project. So in the Ansible project, we have, this is the job which will be created, which will be seeing how to configure. So in this again, we have mentioned that it will access key secret key. So what we need to do in the IAM, we need to create one user and assign it the credentials, which is like the access key secret key. Again, there are multiple ways of passing things. You can create some role and run it via that. But for our demo purpose, we are just passing the access key and secret key here in the environment itself. And then we have defined couple of stages. So first stages is like clean the workspace, so delete the whole workspace This is the implementation of that part. And then we have the check out the source code. So we'll be checking out the source code, which is this repo itself. And then what we are doing is upload the file to S3. The next stage is uploading the file to S3. So I've just mentioned all the commands here, how to run the playbook for Ansible. So before that, these are the prerequisites like Python 3 to 3 Ansible version is checking. So once all the checks are done, then we are running the Ansible playbook, playbooks, and then upload to S3 YAML. This is our playbook which will be running. And then we have in the post build section, we are mentioning like the upload to S3 successful. And we are just, I just added this part from which is changing from the previous tutorials we have seen. So here I am defined another post step, which is failure. So in case of failure, we have defined a variable called summary. In that we are summarizing the failure with AI. So what is the cause of the failure? We'll just summarize that. Yeah, so what for the summary, it will just go to the current build and take the 500 lines from there, the current build. So now this is the actual part which is being implemented here. So if you see in the variable summary, I'm passing the function here, summarize with failure with AI. So summarize failure with AI is defined here, which is again having a variable called logtail. If in the logtail, we are passing the raw build with the logs file, which is the current build which will be running. So it will pass the 250 lines, and again after the 250 line, it will create a new line and then pass 12,000 characters. So and then finally, what we are doing is whatever is stored in the log tail variable, we'll be putting that in a file called failure log.txt. So once that is there, again we are executing the try and catch part. So in the try part, we are executing the Python script, which is implementing our AI summarization of the failure and returning that. So in case of failure, so we'll see file here again. That script is here. If you go to okay, so here we can see this is the actual script which will be called. So we'll go to the main function. So this is the main function from where the system will start calling. So first is again it will call this main function. In the main we have couple of functions which are being called one by one. First of all, it will read log, then it will be detecting failure from the log, and then if you see the detect failure function. So here we have defined all the things like how to parse and find what is the error and those things here. And then this is the actual part which we are doing, which is passing the prompts to AI. So build prompt is again this is similarly whatever you pass to your chat GPT, Gemini, etc. So these are the prompts which we are passing here. So we are mentioning that consider it as a CI/CD assistant and summarize the Jenkins failure. So what we need is we need what has failed, what is the root cause, and what is the solution for fixing those things. So again, those things we are passing the job, build, URL, etc. And again, then we are printing the hint here. And if you go to the last one, which is being called is this resolve provider. So this resolve provider is actually calling the required AI part, which is like again it will store all the API keys, base URL model which we are using these variables. But currently we are not passing any API key, base URL or model, because by default we have put it like if those things are not passed, it should be returning with the it should be returning with Ollama. So if we don't have any API key, base URL model passed, so by default it will default back to Ollama. So currently we are using Ollama for the failure analysis with the help of AI. And then like these are the basic functions. It will print like using AI provider, and then it will provide the failure here. It will summarize with AI failure summary, and it will give you the output like why it has failed. So all these things analysis with we are doing with the help of Python script. Python script is going in the background and it's calling the Ollama for the analysis of the log which we have passed earlier. Then it will find out the exact error, so that we don't need to go and troubleshoot what is the cause of the failure. So let's see the implementation of this. Now all these repo is here. So the same repo I just created a Jenkins job earlier here, as you have seen in the previous tutorials. So you can also create your own if you don't want. Just go to a simple new project and create this. Nothing we just need to do here. We just need to pass the repo. So this is the repo which we are using for our demo here. So I just pass the repo, and here you need to pass the branch. So by default it will be main or master. but I have implemented this in the AI branch. So I just mentioned the AI branch here. And then this is like piping. This is actually not required. I can just remove this. And here we have to pass the Jenkins file, because Jenkins file is the one which will be executing the whole code which we have seen here one by one, running the different stages, getting the credentials, so all those things. Now, this credentials section is already stored in our Jenkins credential. So if you go here, Jenkins, we need to store here is, this is already covered in the previous tutorial, but I'll just go through once again for the explanation part. So if you go here, credentials, yeah, so here you can go ahead and create your new credentials. So I'm just using the previous ones. So if you see here, access key and secret key, I have the credentials here. So you can go and ahead and create your own credentials. If you don't have, you can create two credentials here. So I have just used the secret kind of secret text for both AWS access key and secret key, which has been stored here. Okay, so that's it for the configuration of the job part. So I'll just run this to show that everything works, and then we'll fail the CI purposely so that we can see how the summary of the build will be, or the CI will be. So the first phase is clean workspace, then is checkout. Now it is cloning the workspace, cloning the Git, and it will create the required workspace directory, and then all the source code will be here. Then it will upload to S3, which is executing our Ansible script. And this is the last step, which is the post build actions. So as it is success, it will not show any summary. So if you directly go to the logs here, you will see it is normally, I mean, it is posting all the stages part here. So now I'll just purposely go and delete or make some failure. So for that, actually all those AI part and implementation, I have used cursor for the implementation. So whatever we prompt I have passed, just directly edited my source code and make the required changes. So you can also follow along by using ChatGPT, OpenAI, or Codex, etc. So this is for my AI implementation. I have not written a single line. Everything for the AI is written by the cursor. So this was it. So I'll just go ahead and create one issue for us. Maybe I'll change the bucket name to some other name. So suppose this is the playbook. Okay, instead of 28, I'll pass 2 May. So there is no 2 May bucket. If you go here, there is no 2 May bucket. I'll just show you. There is no 2 May bucket. Okay, so it should fail. So I'll just commit it. Okay, so the commit is done. If we just go here and refresh it in the AI, and we can see just now the commit was done, and instead of 28 May, it is 2 May. So if definitely the bucket doesn't exist, so it will fail. So we will just build now. So as of now, you can see there is no summary here. Everything is success. So that is what is expected. So whenever it is a failure, it will display the failure message here itself in the CI, and also in the logs we'll be seeing how it will summarize the thing. So now it is very small stages here. So you can find the errors or issues easily. But in case of large enterprise and other cases, there will be a lot of stages and there will be a lot of complexity. Maybe some builds will be running for a few hours or a few minutes. So in that case, troubleshooting becomes very difficult. So in those cases, it will be very helpful if you implement this AI summary of the CI failure. So it can save a lot of time for developers as well as the DevOps team. So we can see checkout is done, and now we can see the upload has failed here. And we can see it's like it's trying to upload and it has failed. So now it's not clear why it has failed. So we'll just directly go to the logs here. We can see it has directly given the summary here itself, failure summary log, upload to S3 failed. So we'll just go here. Again, we can see the summary here. Failed to upload as this an error occurred when calling the put object origin. The specified bucket doesn't exist. So it directly says the bucket doesn't exist because if you see 2 May, already it is not here. So that is why it has directly pointed out, and it is summarized with the help of our AI implementation in the CI failure that the bucket doesn't exist. So instead of us going and finding what is the root cause from the logs, it can easily summarize the actual issue, and it can save a lot of time for different teams. So that's how easy it was for the implementation of AI summary with the CI failure summary. you can implement in your own company or enterprise with the kind of summary, so that it can save a lot of time for different teams for troubleshooting part.